All not a whole lot going on. I'll answer any questions for you. I mean, just a sixth practice of spring. Not that exciting. Clay, I guess you're.
That's fine, Clay.
Yeah,
Clay usually just speaks anyway. So.
I was trying to follow protocol. Coach, how are you? How's the Luke Fickle, Chris Ash collaboration?
It's going well. It's going well. We've, you've heard the term overhaul. We've been pretty good against the rush defense the last few years, and not very good against pass defense. So it's completely revamping the entire back end of how we do our business, and so far it's been pretty good. You know, the Von Bell injury set us back a little bit, and so Cam Burrows is in there. We got those three safeties we feel good about. Obviously not enough.
But it's Chris this and Luke that. They don't. I mean, you know what I mean?
Oh no. It's completely meshed together very well.
Austin, front row right.
Urban Stan mentioned on Saturday or last week that Dontre was no longer in the running back meeting room. Has his role changed at all? Is it more emphasis on as a receiver?
Yeah, he's a starting age. He took Philly Brown's spot, and so he's full-time receiver. We did take him today and put him in some backfield action. I don't. We use that term Percy Harvin very loosely because there's only probably one of him. But we like that hybrid position is really a key guy if we can do that. The good thing is Jalen Marshall, before he got hurt, was doing really well. He's got the body type for that, and then a kid named Curtis Samuel. So we got three body types that, but by far, Dontre is the number one spot.
It seemed like thinking back to August that you were more intent on labeling him as a running back and that you may be worried about the hands coming along, at least at that point.
Yeah.
Is he?
Much better. Yeah, he's a starting age at Ohio State.
Tim.
Urban, a couple things. Number one, Joshua Perry, did you see him make a move the last couple of games last year? And has he continued to do that from an improvement standpoint from becoming a...
Yeah, I had him call up the team today because he's without question one of our top five most improved players. And demeanor's always been there, work ethic's been there. The toughness element is something that's really improved, and love of the game. And I mean, he's a wonderful guy to coach. So yeah, much improved player.
Are you seeing what you want to see? Kind of an odd question though, from Braxton as he stands there and watches and stuff. And I don't know how much you've even spoken to him or.
Oh yeah, I talk to him almost every snap. Yeah, I think so. It's just he needs those reps, but what can you do? So yeah, he's doing everything we ask him.
Bill.
Could you assess how the wide receiver group is looking, particularly with Devin Smith? And
Yeah, Devin's doing good. Our receiver, probably in order, would be Devin Smith, Michael Thomas, without including the tight ends, because they're certainly either one or two. Jeff Hireman up there. Corey Smith, the JC transfer redshirt last year, has looked good at times. He needs to be more consistent. And I'm trying to think who else we got out there. Evan Spencer's not practicing; he's hurt. And Johnny Dixon's doing good. Jeff Green's doing okay. He needs to keep pushing.
James Clark and obviously
James Clark has he's not alive yet, but he had a good day today. He's just not because he had the shoulder surgery.
Do you feel like that unit's going to give you what you needed?
I think it's better be one of our strengths.
Far left, Matt.
As you said, it's only six practices and it's early, but are you seeing a position or positions where the competition is, where you want it, where at this stage you're like, I don't know who's going to emerge in that position, but I'm feeling good about the depth. But are there positions, or is it just across the board? What do you see?
The only position where there's, I'd say two, maybe three, the positions that we've recruited well and there's depth right now is the defensive line. You have some good players out there, not just the first group, so there is some competition. Wide receiver, you see some competition for some spots in the tailback position. Other than that, you just like the offensive line, we're just trying to put that thing together. We don't have enough depth there. That's where Jamarco Jones and Demetrius Knox have to come in and help us. I think the tight end there's because Nick Vanette's starting to push Jeff Hireman a little bit, but those are the only positions, and that's not atypical. That's spring practice. That's where you got to count on Eric Smith to come in, Marshawn Lattimore to come in, and Berger, Dante Booker, and Sam Hubbard to come in and push the linebacker crew a little bit. But you know, those are the three that I mentioned. You see lists of competition in the spring because you have depth.
Front row middle, Todd.
Irvin, can you kind of give us your assessment of Saturday scrimmage, and are there any guys who moved up, moved down based on performance Saturday?
Tyvis Powell, graded a champion. I should have that for you. I don't have. So, Tyvis Powell, Tom, was there any offensive guys grade champion?
Nick Vanette.
Nick Vanette
Pat Elfline.
and Pat Elfline. Pat Elfline's earned himself a starting spot. He's a starting offensive lineman at Ohio State. And Nick Vanette is, like I said, he's been, from the offseason to now, he's been really pushing for playing time.
What about the running back spot? Is that still sort of a mismatch?
Rod actually had a really good day today. Rod Smith and Ezekiel Elliott. And, no one's really separated himself yet.
Second row, Ari.
Coach, down in the South, spring football is such a big part of what they do at the high school level, and obviously has a big impact on the way recruits get noticed and recruiting, and even how you guys are involved. Are you surprised that spring football is not or there's no spring football in Ohio, and how does that impact the way you guys approach recruiting down there as opposed to up here?
That's a good question. It's much easier to evaluate in the South because you get to physically watch them practice. You know, here you go sit in the white room and maybe watch them, or maybe they do some skill work. So that's certainly, it's almost another year of football the way you look at it. Is that, you know, you have 4 years of spring football. That gives you one more. It's basically 5 years of high school football getting you ready to go. But that's, you know, that's the way it is. But there is an advantage for evaluation to go physically watch them.
You ever surprised that with how advanced Ohio high school football is, they haven't gone to that model or are in a situation where they have that?
Oh, I don't. You said my surprise?
Surprised that for how important that is.
I know every other year there's been conversation. I'm surprised there's not something more where, you know, maybe not full spring practice because you have weather issues. But I'm surprised there's not opportunity, like when the spring sports are finished, get at least a weekend or 2 weeks in. Yeah, I thought at some point they'd do that.
Last couple questions. Doug.
Urban, whatever you guys did offensively last season, it's like you could always, if you needed to, lean on the offensive line, lean on Carlos. How much will the offense have to be different in the fall? Because even if you guys are good on the offensive line and good at running back, you're maybe not going to be at the point where, when in doubt,
Right.
lean on that. Do you have to be more dynamic to compensate for that, or how much do you think the base of the offense has to change?
Well, that's where Dontre's and Jalen Marshall's and the little bubble screens, and we're going to have to take the pressure. You're right. We won't, as bad as we want an offensive line like we had last year. It's going to take a while to develop that. I think at some point, because we recruited well and our line coach, that'll happen. But no, it's going to be a different. We're going to have to lean on, maybe some perimeter ways of getting first downs and all that. Where last year was, when you rush for 300+ yards a game, it's because that offensive line was so good. But we have other weapons. It will be a different little taste to it though than we had last year.
Last question, Clay.
Do you think you can find anybody on this campus who's faster than Dontre Wilson? And if there is, and the kid played football, would you let him?
Yes and yes. I think there's. I imagine there's some little guy that runs really fast, or maybe some big guy. If he does, you'll certainly get a tap on the shoulder and say, "You want to come play for that?" Tom, you got to find a guy faster than Dontre.
I'll take him.
I think one thing. I think that's good that you asked. Though we met with the student newspaper. We're going to meet with the student leaders, and the one group of people that I think often get overlooked are the students, and that's something that. That's why we always do something for our students. And this year we have a student day coming up in I think a week and a half, and then just to make sure we're always giving back. The quick cows are always we do all that stuff for the students. So we want students to take ownership of our team. I think that's real important. See you guys.